Naad is a concept that has fascinated mystics, seekers, and philosophers for centuries. It is a word loaded with spiritual significance, often cloaked in metaphor and mystery. Many wonder, what is Naad? Is it the gentle, persistent sound of a cricket in the quiet of the night, the low hum of a bee, or something else entirely? Can listening to this inner sound lead to union with the divine? To understand Naad, one must journey beyond the limits of ordinary hearing, beyond the distractions of the senses, and into the subtle realms where sound and silence merge. Naad, in its deepest sense, is described as the primal sound, the sound of existence itself. In spiritual traditions across the world, from the Upanishads of India to the mystical teachings of Sufis and the writings of saints like Kabir, Naad is revered as the unstuck sound, the anahata nada, a vibration uncreated by any physical means. It is not produced by striking, rubbing, or plucking. It arises naturally, effortlessly, from the very fabric of consciousness. To begin, it is helpful to recognize that everyone is familiar with some form of subtle sound, even if they have not consciously realized it. In moments of quiet, especially at night when external noises fade, many people notice a faint, continuous hum or ringing in their ears. This is sometimes likened to the sound of a cricket, the hum of a bee, or the distant echo of temple bells. For some, it comes as a gentle whir, for others as a high-pitched tone. This sound, always present but often unnoticed, is the first sign that the subtle dimension of hearing is opening up. It is the earliest whisper of Naad, a signpost on the path of inner exploration. Yet, it is crucial to understand that the physical sound of a cricket or a bee is not the same as Naad. These are analogies used by sages to hint at the quality of the inner sound. The true Naad is not heard with the physical ears. It is perceived within, in the stillness of the mind and the silence of the heart. The external world offers many sounds, but Naad arises from within, uncaused by any external stimulus. When the sound of Naad begins to manifest, it is often the result of past spiritual efforts. Just as a field must be plowed, seed sown and watered before a sprout emerges, so too must the seeker practice concentration, devotion, and self-purification before the inner sound reveals itself. But once it begins, a profound shift occurs. The stage of effort gives way to the stage of grace. The divine force, which was always present, now takes over the work. The seed has sprouted. Now it grows not by the farmer's effort, but by the natural laws of nature. At this point, it is essential not to force the experience. Just as grasping too hard at the sweet notes of a flute can cause their beauty to fade, so too can striving to listen to Naad with willful effort cause the experience to recede. The practice now is one of letting go, of surrender. If you imagine yourself on the 10th floor of a building, holding a note in your hand, and wish to send it to the ground, you need not throw it or push it. Just let it go, and gravity will do the rest. Similarly, once Naad has begun, the role of the seeker is to let go, to allow the sound to unfold naturally. The teachings of Kabir and other saints often point to the paradoxical nature of Naad. Kabir says, "Sona mare, anahad devi mar jaye," which hints at experiences beyond ordinary perception. In the presence of Naad, one begins to see, hear, and feel realities that transcend the physical senses. The inner sound draws the seeker into deeper and deeper layers of awareness, revealing the unity that underlies all of existence. Descriptions of Naad vary across traditions. Some hear the resonant note of a conch shell, others the deep vibration of Om, the universal syllable. Some speak of the sound of bells, the chirping of crickets, or the buzzing of bees. These are all attempts to express the inexpressible, to give a name to the nameless. Ultimately, all these variations point to one reality, the living presence of the divine, expressing itself as sound. The journey of Naad is not just about hearing a mystical sound, it is a path to transformation. As the inner sound grows clearer and steadier, the mind becomes more tranquil and worldly desires begin to fade. The incessant chatter of thoughts, the pull of attachments, and the distractions of the senses lose their hold. The seeker is drawn inward, towards the source of the sound, and in doing so, towards the source of all creation. It is important to remember that Naad is not a goal to be achieved by force. If the sound fades, do not be disheartened. Do not struggle to bring it back. Simply continue with your daily duties, maintaining a gentle awareness. The sound will return, often when least expected, as naturally as a bird returns to its nest at dusk. Practices to attune to Naad are gentle and indirect. Meditation, stillness, devotion, and inner silence prepare the ground. But the unfolding of Naad is a gift of grace. When it comes, be grateful and do not cling to the experience. Let it flow, just as a river flows to the sea without resistance or hesitation. The sound of temple bells, the chanting of mantras, the ringing of conches, all these are external reminders of the inner Naad. They awaken the memory of the divine sound within. But true Naad is not bound to any ritual or form. It is ever present, waiting to be heard by the attentive heart. As Naad deepens, a stream of bliss begins to flow. This is the joy spoken of by mystics, the divine bliss that arises when the individual merges with the universal. The seeker is no longer separate, struggling, or striving. There is a sense of unity, of peace, of coming home. This is the fulfillment of the spiritual journey, the goal of all seeking. Yet, even on this path, caution is needed. The allure of experiences, the temptation of spiritual pride, and the distractions of the world can all pull the seeker away from the path. Remain humble, remain vigilant. Do not become attached even to bliss. The sound of Naad is a guide, but the ultimate destination is beyond all sound, beyond all experience. Letting go of worldly desires, of attachments and aversions, opens the way for the deeper experience of Naad. The journey through the spiritual centers or chakras is marked by increasingly subtle sounds, each drawing the seeker closer to the heart of existence. In summary, Naad is the divine sound, the unstuck melody of existence. It is not the literal sound of a cricket or a bee, but rather the subtle vibration that underlies all creation. Listening to Naad is not about effort, but about surrender. Once the sound begins, let it flow naturally. Continue with your daily life without attachment or expectation. If the sound fades, trust that it will return. The ultimate goal is not the sound itself, but the union with the divine that it brings. Be grateful for the gift of Naad. Approach it with humility, patience, and trust. Let go of striving and forcing. Allow the sound to draw you inward, to the source of all peace and bliss. In this surrender, the journey completes itself. The seeker becomes the sought, and the sound of Naad dissolves into the silence of the infinite. This is the mystery of Naad. It is the sound of existence, the call of the divine, the path and the goal. Listen, not with the outer ear, but with the heart. Let go. The divine will do the rest.